this morning and I was like, I cannot literally think of anything better to kick off what we're going to talk about today, right? Like, I choose my own story. I'm here to break the mold. I'm here to do things differently. And what I read in all of those words is I'm here to be me. And when I'm me, the more uniquely and powerfully I am me. And this goes for you guys too. The more you shift into truly being you and throwing out that rule book, you're just going to rise up in your power. And you, my friends, every single one of you are so powerful. And the truth is, many of us just do not realize it. So, I'm fighting against a computer battery that is dying right now. Amazon is delivering a new one today, but when I sat down in my journal last night, I was like, I had no idea what wanted to come out of me, and I knew the general theme of this training, but I didn't 100% know the words, and I'm just allowing them to come and flow through me. And I wanted to read to you. I put it in the post this morning, but I thought it would be even more powerful if I read it to you today so that you can hear it in my voice and you can start to allow this to kind of sink in for you. So what if we just said screw it to the comparison game? And I hope that you can hear my words and know that screw it was not necessarily the word that came out inside of my journal, but I was trying to keep it a little bit PG this morning. What if we just said screw it to the comparison game? What if we threw out the rule book and the how-to book while we're at it? What if we rewrite the script? What if we decide what we truly want from our businesses and we build that? Right? We build that thing that we desire deep down in our souls and that we are not sure is possible for us because it goes against the rules that we've been taught, the ways we've seen other women experience success, and the ways that we are told that this is what we should do. This is the way that we should build it. And I gave you some examples of what that can look like. It can look like a network marketing business that sells books to raise money to purchase books for foster children. It can look like a network marketing business that was the catalyst for a personal styling business that includes a monthly membership, one-on-one clients, consultations, and multiple sources of income. It can look like a network marketing business as part of an influencer empire that sells thousands upon thousands upon thousands of products that speak to you as a human and that you desire to share with the world, and in turn brings you a high level of income. It can look like a network marketing business that helps a homeschooling mama stay at home and put her kiddos first, right? These are all examples of businesses that have taken their network marketing business and built something unique, built something more. And I think something that matters, right? Something that is defined by purpose and by passion, and something that is defined by the person that you are. And I think that that's where we often get really caught up in our network marketing businesses as we sign up. And a lot of us don't always sign up with any intention, right? I don't know about you, but hands up if this sounds like you. But when I signed up for my network marketing business, I didn't even sign up with an intent to sell. I signed up with an intent to get a discount with products that I really liked at that time. And I fell in love along the process. And along the process, as I followed what I like to call the breadcrumbs, is my purpose started to get deeper. My purpose started to reveal itself. And every single time I took a step further and I was true to myself, that purpose deepened and it became more clear. And while I can sit up here on my stage and I can tell you that I know exactly what I'm here to do right now, I also know that in and of itself is going to evolve. That in order to really, truly live into my purpose in life, that I need to allow that space for my purpose to grow and change and fluctuate and to really be true to me, right? To really listen to the calling that's in my heart, and really listen to what is this network marketing business that I'm building? What is it the vehicle to? And it can be the simplest things, and it can be the most complicated things, right? It can be a catalyst to take your family on a vacation once a year, and that gives you purpose in life. It can be a catalyst to retiring you early and allowing you to stay home and take care of your health, which is what it was for me for so many years. It can be like one of the stories that I shared in there is one of my beautiful one-on-one clients who went through the mastermind program with me, who went through Passion to Purpose with me, and she's a foster parent, and she knows the needs inside of that kind of circle. And she has built a business that dedicates her life to that. I don't want to call it an industry, but you know what I mean, that kind of circle. And it is so heart-centered and heart-focused that it's so beautiful and it's so powerful that it actually brings people into her world because her mission resonates with the people that it's supposed to resonate with. Right? And so sometimes I think we need to dig a little bit deeper. And I remember in the beginning people telling me, find your why, find your why, find your why. And I can tell you right here and now is I didn't have a why that drove me further until certain things happened in my life, until I actually forced myself to get really, really honest with myself. Because a lot of the time I buried that why behind things that I wanted to do for other people, like income that I wanted to bring into my family, like a lot of little cliches. And there's nothing wrong with cliches, because I think cliches become a thing for a reason. They speak to a lot of people. They really resonate with a lot of people. But there came a point where it started to become more about me and what I desired to build in the world, the platform that I desired to stand up on in front of the world. And it became about stepping outside of that comfort zone and being a little bit more brave. And so I would ask you, and I would encourage you to share in the comments, like, what is it? Why is it that you started this business, and where has it led you? And have you constantly been following the shoulds, the way that other people tell you to build the business, the way that you see other people building the business? And don't get me wrong, I always believe in strategy and learning from other people and trying out new things in your business. And I don't think that we throw all that to the wayside, but I believe that our unique energy is actually that magic ingredient that will set your business on fire, that will completely change the game inside of your business. And that's exactly why I am building the runway the way that I am this year, because for those of you that know exactly what this is and you are like light bulb moment, I'm like, okay, let's start this journey together. Let's build that dream and that purpose and that passion together, because you know what you want to do and I'm going to help you get there. But I know there's another bucket of people, because I would have been in that bucket of people where the words resonated with me. I knew that I desired a greater purpose. I knew that I was here for more, but I had no freaking idea what that more was. I didn't know how to define it. I didn't know how to take this first step towards it. And therefore, I never truly did, right? Because I kept waiting and waiting and waiting in the wings, wondering, when is it going to hit me? Incidentally, it ended up being a Mack truck that hit me. And I mean, that's a really incredible way to be woken up by the universe, but I don't want the Mack truck for all of you. And so what if we found that purpose together? What if we reached for more together? What if you could commit to going on this year-long journey and imagining what could be on the other side of it for you? And what's interesting is that this is not the direction that I wanted to take this training in at all. I called it Call Your Shot because I wanted to talk a little bit about what you deem success to be, what you define success to be. And then I wanted to talk a lot about staying in your own lane and truly understanding what your own measures of success are. I'm a little bit in the sun right here, but maybe that's also the universe speaking to us. Let me see if I can fix that for you. And so as I've gone on this little Tumblr, I would love to hear what resonates for you in there. Like, what is speaking to you? And sometimes we have to create space inside of our lives to listen. So I talked about this inside the Catwalk program last night. I did a little post in there. And for those of you that don't know what the Catwalk is another kind of monthly coaching container where you actually get access to every single course in my world that I've created, and then every single course that I am about to create. And you get it in live energy, you get it in a hub that you can go through self-paced. So it is currently evolving and growing right now, and I have a lot of amazing and incredible and powerful things planned for the fall. But I said in there that I purposely and very intentionally created a lot of space inside of my life this summer. And I didn't do a lot of work, but what I did do is what I explained was that I leaned back in my work, but what I didn't do was unplug. I kept my energy created or attached and connected to my bigger purpose, to my vision, to the business that I was building. I built the blocks, the things that I needed to do inside of my business to allow my business to keep growing and functioning, but with very minimal effort for me. So part of that plan was these Wednesday masterclasses, and I knew a lot of really incredible content would come out through these, even though I had no idea what the titles of them were going to be at the beginning of the summer, even though sometimes I chose the topic the day before I did the training, because I allowed for that space for the magic to come through. The magic is inside of every single one of us, but the problem is we are so caught up in all of the shoulds. We are so caught up in our to-do lists. We are so caught up in over-functioning and over-scheduling and over-stressing our very bodies that we have no room for that to come in. And therefore, we aren't realizing our passions and our drive because we're making everything so much more work than it necessarily needs to be. So inside of this business that I built this summer, and a consistent, the income did not drop, you guys. I probably worked less than 2 hours a day. Some days were more because I felt inspired and connected to do that. But what actually came through was all of the things that needed to come through. What came through was a total revamp and revitalize to the program, the runway, in a way that I know this is going to be the program. This is going to be one of my signature programs that people are wanting to be a part of. And I know that it's going to take a leap of faith in the beginning for you to go on that journey with me over the course of the next year. And it's interesting because one of my coaches said to me, Lori, the harder part is not to get people to commit to that financial investment, because the truth is, it's not huge. It's enough, because I believe in that commitment and where your financial, I believe in the commitment of putting money forward, right? That it will up level your intention, that will get you to do the things, right? It kind of holds you accountable. What she said is, she's like, I'm not sure if people will sign up to do something that's a year long, because that's a really hard thing for people to attach their energy to. No one knows where they're going to be a year from now. But what I said to her was but I know. And that's all that matters to me right now, is that I know. I know that this program will serve people on a deeper level than, and don't get me wrong, I have loved what I've done in there in the last 18 months. I think there's really powerful trainings, and I'm going to pull from a lot of that content, but I'm going to pull it and interweave it, and it's going to become a journey, not just the stop and start. What drives me nuts about network marketing is the very, very masculine container, right? We go for our promotions every month. We go for our incentives every month. We have to earn our paycheck every single month. I would like to together figure out a way to dance and rise in our feminine energy inside of that very masculine container. I want to teach women that it's not only about that ick factor of cold messages. It's not only about getting away from the way that people used to build network marketing businesses and becoming more true to us and building relationships. Yes, that's what I am here to do as well. But what I'm also here to do is teach you how to build a business that has passion and purpose and is you. That passion and purpose is connected to actually who you are, right? Because when you do that, you won't have a hard time committing to a year. You will want to commit to another year after that, because you know that there's more on top of more, that there is always a next layer and a next level that we get to work for. And you will love this journey so much that it will spark every bit of energy in your being to keep going. And when you're struggling, when you're feeling challenged, when you're not sure what step to take next, you're going to be surrounded by a community of women that lift you up, and you're going to have me in your corner cheering you on, saying, yeah, you can, right? And let's do it together. And so the next piece of this training that I really want to talk about, that kind of what I really kind of started with in here, is that comparison game. So I called it calling your shot because, and I meant to ask Wayne actually what sport it is that you call your shot in before he left for the grocery store, but I didn't, alas, and it doesn't really matter. And if you know, drop it into the comments here, but I picture it. This is what I picture it as. I picture it as you're standing on a basketball court and you point towards that net and you are too far away to make it. Everybody is in the stands being like, there is no way she can do that. But you call your shot and you do it. You beat all of the odds. I picture you standing on a golf course and if the shot is 10 times further than anything you've ever hit before, but you point to that hole and you say, I've got this. Right? I picture it like you're playing pool and you know exactly which ball is going to bounce off of which ball to inevitably sink that 8 ball. I picture us standing up on that mountain being like, I have no idea how I'm going to get where I want to go, but it's inside of me, and that very thing tells me that this is what is meant for me. And so I'm going to link arms with other women that simply rely on that level of faith and energy, and we're going to do it together. And the way that Babe Ruth. Yes, was it Babe Ruth that said that? So it's baseball, right? Oh, yes, that's right. It's Babe Ruth standing on home plate. Guys, I'm a baseball was my thing. I played travel baseball until I was 18 years old. I should have known this one. But it's Babe Ruth standing on home plate, pointing his bat towards the outfield, being like, I'm going to hit my 56,000th home run, even though no one said it could be done. We are not here to be average, right? We're here to call our shot, and then we're here to commit to that shot. And every single time it seems like it's not going to happen, we recommit to our shot. We recommit to our faith that this is what is meant for us, even if it takes longer than we thought it would, even if it doesn't look exactly the way we thought that it would, even if every single odds are stacked against us, even during the days where we feel like shit and we hate the world and we're like, I want to quit, there's no more of this. Even during the days where we feel like nothing can touch us because everything's on fire, everything's clicking into place. We have all of those days in our lives. And the truth is that all of them matter, right? All of them count. All of them are a part of the process. And if you don't keep going when you have those shit days, you're never going to make it to the top of that mountain. You're never going to hit more home runs than anybody ever said were possible. And so I'm here for the big dreamers. I'm here for those women that want to call their shot today and that desire more. I'm here for the women that are like, you know what? Hell yes, this is for me. And I'm not even sure what we're going to do inside of this year, but I trust my gut that this was made for me, that I was made for more. And I don't want to cause so it's so interesting. This is nothing to do with the topic that I actually meant to talk about today. But that's kind of the magic of just allowing your soul to lead, right? And so the one thing that I did want to talk about was that comparison game. And so one of the ways to get further in life, and one of the ways to not get stopped in your tracks, is to stop playing that comparison game, right? And the first piece of that puzzle in stopping with the comparison days, Jamie Lynn says, rebounding after those shit days is really hard for me. And you guys, really hard for me too. It's really hard for me too. Last weekend, I just had this feeling in the pit of my stomach. I was like, Lori, you're failing. You're not doing and it was a little bit intertwined with the fact that I didn't feel the satisfaction of working a lot. And I have this belief inside of me that you really need to work hard for success. And that is what I was actually proving to myself this summer, was it what doesn't work like that at all. That the good ideas, the moments of inspiration, the like things that actually quantum leap you forward, they don't come from hard work. They come from intuition and inspiration. But it didn't mean that I didn't sink. I don't ever sink into those feelings, those like, and have to overcome those leaps and hurdles as well. I do. But you know what's on the other side of those days? Trust, proof that it's working, faith that it's going to work. And one of the things that I taken from a training, I don't know, in the last couple of weeks was, and I keep saying to my clients over and over again, in my circles over and over again, I think it'll probably show up in a podcast episode, is that we can find any bit of proof that we want for absolutely anything in life, right? You can find proof that this isn't going to work for you. You can find proof that you're no good at this, right? It's everywhere. We fail all the time. You could find proof that the world is flat. That proof is out there too. People once believed that. You could find proof that, like, I don't want to get into vaccine chats, but this is like the example that I used with my husband. I was like, you know, you can find proof for anything. You can find proof that like the vaccines are going to wipe out the entire human race. The proof is out there, right? The research is out there. People are saying those things. And if you use those things to justify your beliefs, then they will further solidify the things that you believe. But if you choose to believe other things and you search for that proof, those things can be your truth. So if you want to make it, if you believe that this is going to work, then you need to look for the proof that this is already working. Look for all the little pieces that tell you that this is working. It could be in a comment that someone puts on a post. It could be on a message that somebody sends for you. When I launch a brand new program, the very first person that signs up, I'm like, this is going to work, right? I got my message out. I said it in such a way that it made sense to somebody else. And what's interesting is that the 2 days after I had that little spiral of feeling like maybe I haven't done enough this summer, maybe it hasn't worked, a couple new people dropped into the runway, right? And it was this moment where the universe was saying, like, Lori, just keep going. This is working. Your purpose is bigger than your fear. Your passion is bigger than any little obstacle that's going to get in your way. And if you continue to align yourself with what you desire out of life, for yourself, for your family, for your community, for the women in your world, ultimately for yourself, you guys. You know, I think so often we spend so much time doing things for other people that we forget that we matter in this equation, right? What do you desire out of life? And I don't give a shit if it's like what's something that you would be like afraid to say out loud. You know what? I desire to travel the world, to take my kids to Europe next year, to have a cottage and also have multiple other places. Does that make me selfish? No, because I think inside of that, I also desire to show other women that when you build that soul-driven business that is like built on passion, that anything is possible. And I think that me living my dreams will also further show other women that it is possible for them too. So every single thing that you desire has a purpose. Sometimes you're just allowed to want it for yourself. And so where I was going before I went off on that second or third or fourth or 500th tangent is that sometimes we need to know what success looks like for us, right? I call that your measures of success. And this is something that I start every single mastermind that I do with, because so often we attach what our definition of success to what success looks like for other women. So I want you to take some time today and to ask yourself, what is the life that I want to build? What does success look like to me? And if you jump into the runway, I want you to come in knowing where you want to go, where you want to be in a year. You do not need to know how you're going to get there. In fact, it doesn't really matter, because we're going to link arms. We're going to do it together, step by step, brick by brick. I am going to help you build to whatever those dreams are that you have. You just need to have a vision of what that could look like for you. What could be possible in for your life, what you desire in your life. And then when you attach yourself to what you deem to be success, you get to put the blinders on to everybody else. And one of the examples that I use is that Oftentimes people will, I'll be scrolling social media and I'll see somebody got this brand new, beautiful car. And like, they're talking about how like their business opened up all these things. And like, now they drive this beautiful car. And I'm like, well, I drive a 5.5-year-old Hyundai SUV. Maybe I'm not good enough, right? Like maybe I haven't hit success yet. But if I go back to my core values, if I ask myself what success looks like for me, a car was never really part of that. I'm not knocking cars whatsoever, because a cottage was part of that. And I'm actually like kind of starting to desire just leasing a vehicle every 3 years, because that feels really abundant to me and that feels really safe to me. Like I can always just trust my vehicle. I'll always have like that insurance, blah, blah, blah. Everything's taken care of for me. And for me, that feels really high vibe. But when I look at what other people have gotten and as their kind of rewards for success, and I start to measure that against my own success, I can start to feel less than. But we are not in competition with anybody else. We are in growth with ourselves. So you want to know what matters to you. And I can tell you 7 years ago when I was working full-time as a teacher and I was commuting an hour to and from work and I had just started having really little babies, success to me was being able to put my kids on and off the bus every single day, to have the freedom to go in and volunteer at my kids' school. When they joined kindergarten, to be able to be that parent that dropped them off, that went into the classroom, that made them comfortable, that made them happy. And when I was teaching full time and I was driving to and from work, there was absolutely no way that that was possible. Right? I had no idea. My business was in infancy. I never dreamed that my business would become what it was. In fact, I never allowed myself to dream that I would even desired my business to come. It was so deep down, and I didn't believe it was possible so much that I didn't even allow myself to say it out loud. But I still continued to follow those breadcrumbs. And then the universe stepped in the way that the universe does, hit me with a Mack truck and gave me no other choice but to up-level my business and to get it to the place. And lo and behold, what do I do now? I put my kids on and off the bus. I volunteer during Christmas craft day. I get to be the mom that sends in like little care packages on Halloween for all of the kids if that's what I desire, right? It's the simple things. So if I look back at the life that I'm leading right now and I measure it against my own pillars of success, the things that I desire for my life, not what Sarah's doing over there, not what Jessica's got going on, nothing else but what I desire, then I am already successful. And I am already moving towards those next pillars of success. So that's what I want you to internalize. There's a couple things that I want you to take from this training and some pieces of homework that I want you to start working on. And number one, it's to decide what are those measures of success for you. What would make you feel successful? What do you desire out of life? What does your next chapter look like? Right? And prepare to be surprised at what you desire. I am always shocked to be like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want to write a book. Oh, I want to do this. And I'm always surprised and I'm always shocked. But if the idea comes to you, it's meant for you. And it'll be like this thing that you won't be able to shake until you decide that it's yours. Your second piece of homework is to challenge yourself with the what if questions. If there were no rules, if there were no limitations, what would you desire out of life? What does that look like for you? And in those moments of doubt, when you are calling your own shot and you're like, but that shot doesn't seem possible for me, I want you to remember my words. You've got this. This is meant for you. If you desire it, if it's in your heart and it's in your soul, follow the breadcrumbs and it will lead you there. Lisa says, if the idea comes to you, it's meant for you. That's the that's the quote that gives her goosebumps, and that is 100% true. If the idea comes, the problem is is the majority of us, we get those ideas, they give us the goosebumps, they light us up, they set our soul on fire for half a second, and then we crush those dreams with our brains, right? We tell ourselves all of the reason that that's not possible for us, and then what we do is we look for the proof that it's not possible, rather than looking for the proof that it is. Because you can find whatever proof you want to justify, to back up whatever claims are in your head. So why don't we look for the proof of what is possible? Why don't we look for the proof that allows us to step onto the stage and be bigger than we are today? And don't feel guilty about being that person that knocks down all your ideas, because what I can tell you is that the Lori of yesterday, I always felt like what made sense was when you came up with an idea, you prepared yourself for the worst. And I don't know whether that was ingrained in me as a kid or whatever, but what I would do is I would come up with an idea and I would believe in my heart that it was possible for me, because I believe that if other women are doing it, that means that it's possible for me too. But I would also tell myself, but if it doesn't happen, then that's okay because of X, Y, Z. And I would almost like shield myself from the pain and the frustration of something not happening. But you know what? I was also shielding myself from the magic of believing that every single thing was possible. I was knocking myself down. I was looking for the proof that it might not be possible. And I think what we need to do is we need to look for the proof that it is. And then we need to align ourselves with that proof. We need to surround ourselves with the women that have the big dreams too, the big goals too, the women that believe in us even more than we believe in ourselves on the days that are hard. And if you need someone in your corner like that, I've got you. I believe in the magic inside of every single one of us. I believe that there are no limitations, there are no boundaries to life. And I didn't believe that yesterday. I mean, not literally yesterday, but I mean like a decade ago yesterday, even 5 years ago yesterday. But I believe that now. And I see the proof that it's possible because I'm looking for the proof. Because I believe in myself, because I believe in my dreams, and I believe in yours too. Love you guys.